Welcome. If you're new to the channel, my name is Elliott with Rickety Ski Reviews, and today we're not going to react to a video. Well, we kind of are, but we're going to show you my personal ski quiver. I'll kind of go through all my skis, how I picked them, what length I got, all the details you ask in the comments, we're going to answer today. A real person buying skis is going to have a limited budget, and they're going to have X amount of skis. Yeah, so let's kind of jump into it. Now, first off, I saw the Ski Essentials video where they were going through their ski quiver, and Jeff, you lined up 9 pairs of skis. What? Dude, you need an intervention. Where are you storing all of these? Like, come on, man. Do you really need 9 pairs of skis? I know that he has 9 just because he works in the industry and he's testing all these skis, and they sell skis, so I'm sure he gets deals or his products that just kind of get left over. But even still, 9? You're in Vermont. The ski conditions don't vary that much. It's like hard ice and kind of soft ice and very rarely some powder. And I say that as someone who's from Vermont. So, no, I don't have 9 skis behind me. I've got 3 pairs of skis, which in my mind is a little more practical for people who are actually skiing regularly. I don't know who would actually need 9 pairs of skis. That seems like insane to me, but oh well, that's where we're at. Back when I was racing and kind of fresh out of ski racing, I did have more skis. I moved to Vermont in my 20s and then moved back to Idaho. So, in that cross-country journey there and back, I lost probably about 4 or 5 pairs of skis just because I had slalom skis, GS skis, some old powder skis like some old Rosignol B3 Bandits. Just skis that I'd beat up, skied out, and weren't really useful anymore. And honestly, I just didn't have room for them. It was like, okay, bring my 193 Rosignol GS skis, the Radicals, or bring a vacuum. So, I had young kids, the vacuum went out. So, I used to have more skis, but I'm perfectly content not owning that many pairs of skis. Let's jump into it. Let's go over the skis that I actually ski on and what I keep in my quote-unquote quiver. So the first ski I'm going to talk about is the ski that I've been skiing on for the last 3 years. In fact, for the last 3 years, I've just had 1 pair of skis. It was kind of my 1 ski quiver. So now I've retired them. They've kind of had the snot kicked out of them, so to speak. Like, I got them at the ski swap, so they were already used, but they're in great condition. And I really skied hard on them. I skied hard on them every day. I skied about 75 days last year. Just really hit these skis hard. Was not afraid to hit them on the rocks because at this point they were like 5 or 6 years old. I don't worry about it. I might put some P-Tex on it, keep them running, but yeah, these skis have had it hard, so I keep them as my rock skis or my early season skis, but these skis still shred. They're still nice skis. So the first ski is my Atomic Vantage 90 Ti. So these Atomic Vantages are really nice skis. I've got a Look SPX 12 on them. Great bindings. You can see, if you look really closely here, the binding plastic cover came off. Although, granted, these are probably like 5 or 6 years old. But yeah, the plastic cover came off. It doesn't really matter. I have to kind of guess where the din's at, and I have the din almost maxed out, so that's kind of easy math. Or I put them side by side to see where the number's at. But nice bindings. These were great skis. I can tell you a little bit about them. So these skis have what Atomic calls the titanium backbone and the carbon tank mesh. And my understanding is that the carbon is kind of in the tips here, whereas you kind of have the TI in the center and the back. I could be wrong. It's hard to find information on old skis, and I got them at a ski swap. It wasn't like I had a lot of in-depth understanding of them. But back when I first started my website of Rickety Ski Reviews, back in 2018, before it went on hiatus, I reviewed skis. I wrote up a bunch of ski reviews, and these were my ski of the year. I loved the Atomic Vantages. I thought the design was so innovative. It really carved well, but also had a lot of diversity. This year, I took these in the powder. We had one of the best winters we've had. I took it in 2-3 feet of snow. They did awesome. The only place that they really got stuck, and this could have been a waxing issue because I didn't wax them as much as I should have, but they did get stuck in the late spring. When I was demoing and reviewing the Vocal Mantras could kind of cut through some of that heavier, wetter snow, and these tended to get kind of hung up on it. But yeah, 90 underfoot, they carve great, they float on the powder well, they're really light, especially compared to some of the other skis I've had. So Yeah, these are awesome skis, and I'll definitely still use these for early season or for rock skis. Very light. I have them in a 176, so I can, you know, do almost slalom turns, GS turns. These are just awesome. If you're really balling on a budget and you're looking for a ski at a ski swap, you can find the Atomic Vantage. The problem is they discontinued the Vantage and kind of merged it into the Atomic Maverick, but because of that, the Atomic Vantages, like when I look for them used online, they still are kind of pricey because people haven't gotten the memo that they're Mavericks now. So they can be hard to find, but if you find a good deal, I mean, these will last you and these are great. I skied on these for 3 years. I want to say I paid like 250 to 300 bucks for these at the time. Killer deal, great skis. I really like these. These are kind of my rock skis that I've kept kicking around. I don't know, just because it's nice to not worry about it. I went skiing in Sun Valley and there were like rocks kind of coming up from some of the snow, or if you want to traverse areas, it could be a little rocky. And you know what? These were awesome because I could just like head down something and not worry about it. You might hear a scrape, that's okay. They're tools, not jewels. I don't go out of my way to damage them or anything, but you know, that just happens, especially if you go off trail and you're kind of exploring. All right, the next ski I'll talk about is a ski that I haven't even mounted yet. I just got it this like summer. I bought it, it's last year's top sheet, but still a great ski. It is the Salomon QST 106. I bought this ski as a powder ski, and I had reviewed the Salomon QST 98, but I decided to get a little bit wider version in the 106. So this is my Salomon QST 106. You can see it's still in the plastic. I haven't gotten around to mounting them. Probably is a good time of year to do that rather than waiting till the last minute. But these are the Salomon QST 106. Let me kind of go through why I decided to get this version. I reviewed the QST 98 and love them. I thought they did great in the trees. They had really nice shape, a second bulge here, and that when you load it and get into the arc of your turn feels so clean. It's like the most stable turn I've ever felt. These skis rule. I gave them, I think, 9 out of 10. I loved the QST 98. And so I decided to go, because I already have my 90s and my 88s, I decided to go with something that was a little more powder oriented because I don't really have powder skis. And I love my Atomics, but when it gets really, really heavy snow, a 90 underfoot just doesn't float super well. It'll float for like about the first foot or two of snow, but then after that, you know, you can kind of get stuck down in it. So I decided to get the 106. I didn't get the 98 and I didn't get the blank. The blank is kind of the biggest fattest powder ski they make. And the reason I didn't get it is just from looking online at the shape of it. The shape on the QST blank didn't have that kind of second bulge. It kind of looked more uniform in width. And I really liked the design of that bulge with the ski in its turn shape, right? And these are gonna be primarily powder skis, but I do want them to be able to still arc if I get stuck on the cat track or if I, you know, I'm going on the groom part to get to the powder. So I decided to go with the 106 just based on what I could see with the bulge and the ski shape and saying I really love loading up that turn and having it kind of sit really cleanly, especially when you get in that really deep powder. And yeah, in 106 I feel like it's more than enough width for powder skiing. I got these in a 182. I think I mentioned my Vantages were 176. I got the 182 just for something a little bit longer in the powder. That being said, I don't go as big with my length as most people do. A lot of people will get like a 188 for powder skis, and I don't know, I just feel like that's overkill. A 182 is perfect, and the reason I like a little bit less length is because I really like, especially where I ski, I like going off trail and going in the woods. And in order to do that, when there's brush or trees kind of with narrow turns, I don't like super long skis because I can't kind of turn as quickly as I want to be able to, or if it gets kind of sketchy, I want to be able to stop and fit my skis between them. So, you know, be able to go between the trees without having to point them straight down the hill and getting more speed than I want. That's why I went with a 182. Felt very sensible. I'll let you guys know how I like them this season. But this is the powder ski I bought. This is my quiver. I'm gonna put the same pair of Look SPX 12s on them. I think that's just a great binding, and I always find it on sale. I think they cost like $160, $170 now, but I find them typically for like $130 when they go on sale, so I don't know. That's just kind of my tried and true binding. I really like the Look bindings. I am so excited to ski on these for this winter. The next pair of skis I'm gonna talk about are my daily drivers. Here we have the Atomic Maverick 88 Ti. I got these in a 176 length. They're obviously 88 underfoot. These skis rule. They load up when you're carving. They have a lot of turn initiation towards the tip, which is where I like it. But with this new design from the Vantage to the Maverick, they have a lot more pop. They have a lot more camber, and it gives you about 15% extra pop into the turn and out of the turn as well. I also notice when you're going off of jumps that they tend to kind of flick a little bit more. I have reviewed the 95 and the 100, but I like to have some diversity in my skis. So 88 Ti is the most responsive ski. It really, once you load it, will get into that turn quickly, whereas the 95 and 100 can take a little bit longer to set into that turn. You know, I want to have kind of the best of both worlds, so I've got an 88 here and then a 106 back there for powder, because when you're on the groomers and you're loading up that turn, I really like the responsiveness. I'm a former ski racer, so I loved kind of slalom skiing, and I love having kind of a responsive ski like this. It's also wide enough, and it's got that Horizon tech, so it still does okay in the powder. Like if you get a snowstorm out of nowhere, you can still ski on these. These have no problem. It's when you've got like 2-3 feet of snow, you want to be on a 106 just because you have to lean back and fight to keep your tips above a little bit less. These skis are so diverse. If you get a chance to try these, they are just awesome. Atomic, in my opinion, kind of messed up renaming the Vantage, because these are kind of just an upgraded Vantage. And boy, it feels like an upgrade. It felt true to the Vantage in shape and turn initiation and everything that I kind of like about the Vantage, but it just tweaked it up a little bit. Okay, we're gonna give you a little bit more camber, we're gonna cut back the weight, and we're gonna really allow you to get everything you like out of the turn and give you a little bit extra. This is what I ski on daily. You know, if there hasn't been fresh snow and I just know I'm gonna go up and make some laps, this is what I wanna be on, because I can go on the groomers, shred some turns, and then I can go off into the woods, bop around on the moguls, bop around in between the trees, find some packs of powder that the general public hasn't found, and get on these. And man, I love these skis. They feel really stable. I've heard people say that the lightness, they can tend to kind of chatter in a way that people don't like when the conditions aren't great. Like if you get any kind of, what do they call it, chunder? Oh, I hate that word. But if you get like a layer of like ice and snow underneath, and I do feel that, but if you're a really strong skier and you just stand really strong on your downhill ski, I have no problem. I cut right through that stuff. But you gotta be confident, you gotta trust your downhill edge. So you know, you just flex that boot, really load it up, and you will cut right through that stuff. But you know, it doesn't do it for you. Like a Volcal M6 Mantra, you don't have to be that confident and it'll cut through most everything. This, you have to be confident. It's also a very precise turn. It'll give you exactly as much energy as you put into it, and so you can be really exact with what your turn shape looks like. I don't know, I can't say enough good things about these skis. They rule, okay? I don't know why they don't get suggested more, but these are very nice skis. That's like why I started this whole channel, because I had done all these online reviews, read everything that everyone said, and was like set on getting a bent. And I ended up with these after testing skis out, and I just found these to be vastly superior. As someone who loves carving, I think the bents maybe have a little bit of the upper hand. Certainly they have the upper hand if you're doing freestyle skiing, and definitely a little bit in the powder just because they tend to have those wider lengths. But for grooming to powder, these are unstoppable. They carve so well. And then also, you have the ability to go off trail. Or if you get hit with one of those West Coast surprise snowstorms, chef's kiss, this is awesome. I'd have no problem skiing these in the East Coast as well. You know, just keep the edges sharp. I guess I've seen in the comments like requests about that, like, well, what should I ski on the East Coast? And it's like, as long as you're not going for just a super wide powder ski, the most important thing is like getting something that you like, obviously, but also keep your edges sharp. In the West, you have to kind of be more concerned with waxing and keeping the bases from drying out. But on the East Coast, it's really about keeping your skis tuned and keeping the edges sharp so that you can hold an edge and not slide out. Again, this is what I ski on probably 7 out of 10 days. These skis are just awesome. I love kind of going all over the mountain on these. There's very few days that I wouldn't want to have these. And even on those days, if I did have these, I'd still be happy to be skiing. I can also mention that previously, before I bought these, I sold a pair of skis. What used to be in my quiver was the Stokely Stormrider 88 Ti, and I like those skis. I gave them the Ski of the Year review as well back then. But the year that I have, which I believe is like either a 2016 or 2018, the year that I had, they were definitely a little heavy. I think the design's changed since then, but they just like, they felt very chunky, and I found that they were good on the groomers, but they got kind of tiresome in the woods because they just took so much time to go edge to edge and to like kind of swing them around. I don't know. I liked them. They were great when I reviewed them, but once I got more mileage on them, I found myself a lot more days on the Atomic Vantage and then obviously onto the Atomic Maverick. So that concludes my video. It's probably gonna be like a third of the length of the Ski Essentials one, just because Jeff has 9 pairs of skis in his quiver. Like, dude, I was like wondering how he even transported them, right? He's like, load him in the ski box, like, it's fine, I'll come back for the rest tomorrow. That is so many pairs of skis. I just have a modest 3, but I'm happy with that. And I'm also, you know, like not a hoarder. Like if I'm not using a ski like the Stokely Storm Rider, I think I had gone like 2 months without skiing on them, and I just listed them on Facebook Marketplace. I was like, I don't need to keep these around. They're not getting better with age. You know, I'm not using them. Someone else will be thrilled to have a pair of Storm Riders. Now you know, here's what's in my quiver. Here's what I ski on during the winter. I've been super happy with the setup, and I can't wait to have a designated powder ski because I've been using the Vantages for everything, and while they're great, I'm excited to have a little more diversity in my life. But first, I just want to jump into some comments. Somebody asked me, Elliot, where do you get off giving people a hard time about their ski reviews while you're out here in your kid's jungle gym? And to that I say, dude, I got no budget. That's how you know I'm not on the take. I'm not getting any money from ski brands to give them good reviews. I'm giving you my honest opinion, and that's how you can tell the low budget. No, I mean, I have kids. This is the quietest place to record. It's also got really good lighting. It's got good audio. And then I've got, if you see this towel here, it actually is just diffusing the light. Like, you know, I've taken some videography classes. It diffuses the light as it comes down and makes the image look good for you. It also allows me to talk, and you know, I'm kind of animated when I talk, and sitting in front of a computer with a chair just doesn't give you all my personality. You know, maybe one day the production value will go up, but for right now, we're just out here talking about skis with what we've got. So if you enjoyed this content, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button. It really helps out my channel, and it just allows you to kind of get all my content as it comes out. You can also hit the notifications. But yeah, you know, that'll kind of help you because I put out kind of sequential videos, and sometimes it can be confusing if you come in kind of to the second video in a 3-parter. So, but other than that, I just love making this content, and I really appreciate you watching it more than anything. So yeah, thanks for watching. As always, I'll see you in the next one. See ya.